Hi everyone, let's start with class 7 geography chapter 5, that is water. In this chapter we are going to discuss about different sources of water, the distribution of water resources, the ocean currents, waves, tides, and so on. Regarding all these things we can discuss in this chapter in detail. As we know that the sun's heat causes evaporation of water vapor. When the water vapor cools down, it condenses and forms clouds. From there, it may fall down on land or sea in the form of rain, snow, or sleet. The process by which the water continuously changes its form and circulate between oceans, atmosphere, and land is known as the water cycle. So in this image, it is very clear that due to the excessive heat of sun, the water from different water bodies, it will evaporate, and the water vapor cools down, and that changes into the clouds. That process is called condensation. Then the clouds will come down on the earth surface in the form of rain, snow, or sleet. That process is called precipitation. Due to precipitation or rain, the clouds or the water which is present in the atmosphere, again it will join in the lithosphere or the earth. So the water is changing from one form to another continuously. This process is going on. The process of changing of water from one form to another, that is called water cycle. The first, here we can find from the water body, due to the excessive heat, the water, the liquid stage, it is changed into clouds. That process is called condensation, and these clouds, it will come down on the earth's surface in the form of rain, sleet, or snow. That process is called precipitation. The process of changing the water from one form to another, that is called water cycle. The next point we want to discuss, that is the sources of water. Mainly we can divide the sources of water into two heading. First one is the surface water and another one is groundwater. This is a very simple definition or the classification of water resources. In under the heading of the surface water, it comes lakes, ponds, streams, river, storage reservoirs, etc. On the other hand, under the heading of the groundwater, open well, tube well, artesian wells, springs, and infiltrations, etc. Other than this, we can find a number of other water sources, the pond, river, canals, or ocean, or something like that. We are familiar with a number of water resources, the sources of water. The next we want to discuss, that is the distribution of water bodies. We already aware that the Earth is known as a unique planet, or Earth is known as a blue planet or water planet. Nearly 71% of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Due to that, the Earth is known as a water planet or blue planet. Due to the excessive presence of the water, the earth is look like blue in color. Then if you are thinking about the water, nearly 97% of the water that is present in the ocean. Ocean means that is saline water. Only 3% of the water that is fresh water. But this fresh water is not able, that we are not able to consume directly because of a number of factors we can discuss in detail. So nearly 97% of the total water that is present on the oceans, that is the dirty water, that is saline water, saline which means it contains salt, namkin or the salty water. Only 3% of the water that is the fresh water. In that, 2% of the fresh water that is present in the form of glaciers. That means in North Pole and South Pole, in Arctic region or Antarctic region, the water is in solid form that we cannot directly consume. Then the remaining 1% of the fresh water is available in river, lake, or in groundwater. So only a small portion or small percentage of the water is ready to consume directly, or otherwise we can say that only a small portion of the water which we can consume directly. The amount of fresh water is very less. We have abundance of water resources or water, but we are facing the water scarcity. The safe drinking water or the clean water is very less. So this chart that already it is there in our textbook. So the distribution of water bodies. In ocean, nearly 97.3% of the water that is present on the ocean. The specialty of ocean water, that is the sea water, that is saline water, that is salty, so we cannot directly consume. Then 2% of the total water that is present in the North Pole or polar region, Northern Pole or Southern Pole, or in Himalayan region in the form of glaciers or in the form of ice. Then 0.18% of the water, fresh water, is available as a groundwater resource, and 0.009% of the water that is present in the lakes. Then inland sea water and salt lakes, that is 0.009. In atmosphere, that is 0.0019, and in river 0.001. Its total is 100. So this is the exact distribution of the water bodies. So from this data, we can understand that the Earth is known as a blue planet or water planet, even though nearly line share of the water that is not suitable for the human consumption. Nearly 97% of the water that is saline water or salty water which is present in the ocean. Remaining 3% is fresh water, even though the amount of water which is easily available to the humankind, that is very less. The next we want to discuss regarding the ocean circulation, the movement of ocean water. Unlike the calm water of pond and lake, ocean water keeps moving continuously. We know that in the case of one pond, the water is constant, it is not moving. But in the case of ocean, the water is not constant, just like a pond or the water in the pond, but the water in the ocean is continuously moving. The movement of which occurs in ocean are three types. First one is wave, second one is tides and currents. The movement of ocean water, that is in three ways. First one is wave, second one is tides, and third one is ocean currents. Waves. When the waves on the surface of the ocean rises and falls, alternatively, they are called waves. The earthquakes, a volcanic eruption, or the sorry, an earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or underwater landslides can shift a large amount of ocean water. As a result, huge tides waves may be formed, which is called tsunami. Tsunami in southern and Southeast Asian coast had caused the havoc in December 2004. In simple sense, we can say that in ocean, the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternatively. That means if you are going in the ocean, the seashore, from there we can find the ocean water is rises and falls. Alternatively, this ups and down of the ocean water, that is called the waves. But due to the volcanic eruption or earthquake which occurred under the water or the ocean, sometimes it causes the heavy or the high waves, that is called tsunami. Then the second type of the ocean water movement, that is called tides. The rhythmic rises and fall of ocean water twice in a day is called tides. Tides are two types, spring tides and neap tides. So, due to the gravitational pull of sun and moon on earth, we can find the rhythmic rise and fall of the ocean water twice in a day, that is in morning and in evening. This is called the tides. There are two types of tides. First one is the spring tides and second one is neap tide. And the third type of the ocean circulation, that is the ocean currents. The ocean currents are stream of water flowing continuously on the ocean surface in different direction. The ocean currents are of two types, warm and cold. The Labrador Ocean current is the coldest current, while the Gulf Stream is the warm current. So, from where the ocean current is flowing, on the basis of that, we can understand whether the ocean current is a warm current or the cold current. In the northern pole and southern pole, the temperature is less as we compare to the equatorial region. So if the current is the ocean current is moving from north pole or south pole towards the equatorial region, definitely we can call such ocean currents as cold ocean currents. The main reason is that the ocean water is cool, so the water is moving from the cold region to the warm region. On the other hand, if the water is moving from the equatorial region towards the northern pole or southern pole, from the hot region to the cold region, then we can call such ocean currents as warm ocean currents. So we can discuss something detailed. First one is waves. Waves, when the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternatively, they are called waves. The alternative ups and down of the ocean water, that is the definition of wave. An earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or underwater landslides can shift a large amount of ocean water. As a result, huge tidal waves may be formed, in which called the tsunami. So we are experienced the Indians, especially the South Indian people experienced the tsunami in 2004. So the tsunami, in simple sense, we can say that the high waves is called a tsunami. It may be caused by the earthquake or the volcanic eruption, which may occur under the water or in the sea. So that cause the high waves. The high waves are called the tsunami. Actually, that is a Japanese word. So here we can see some examples, the normal the ups and downs of the ocean water, that is called waves. Then the last image that shows the tsunami, that is an exaggerated image, but sometimes the height of the wave, it will come nearly 15 to 20 meters. Then second type of ocean circulation, that is tides. The tides, the rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day, is called tide. These tides are two types. First one is the spring tides and second one is the neap tide. So due to the gravitational pull of the sun and moon on earth, we are experiencing the high tide or the low tide. I think you are familiar with this, the phases of moon. So actually the sun is constant and the earth is revolving around the sun. It is rotating as well as it is revolving around the sun, just like the same way the moon, that is rotating as well as revolving around the earth. So due to the shadow of the moon, or only due to the shadow of the earth, sometimes we are not able to see the full moon. That is, the every day the size and shape of the moon is changing. Then due to that, when this the sun, moon and earth is coming in a straight line on such day, that is especially during the time of full moon and the new moon, the full moon and new moon, the sun, moon and earth, or the sun, earth and moon will come in a straight line. In such a situation, the moon and sun exerts the gravitational pull on earth and it causes the high tides. In both the days, that is in full moon and new moon on earth, we are experiencing the maximum, the highest level of the rise and fall of water. So that such a tides is called the spring tide. And on the other hand, the first quarter and the last quarter, when the sun, earth and moon comes in a 90-degree angle, that is in the first quarter and in the last quarter. So in this image we can see where is the first quarter and where is the position of the last quarter. In that situation, the moon, earth and sun, that comes in a 90-degree angle. So from here we can understand the earth is in the center. On the north pole or south pole we can find the moon, and in the right side we can find the sun. So here the moon is exerting its gravitational force from one side, and on the other the sun is exerting the gravitational, the attracting from another side. So on such days, that is the first quarter and the last quarter, the sun and moon is exerting its gravitational pull from the opposite, not opposite direction. So in such a situation, the earth is not experiencing the high tides or the low tides. So in such case, we are not experiencing the high or low tides. So such the 2 days is known as the leap tide, especially the first quarter and the last quarter. That is called the neap tide. In such situation, the amount of the high tide and low tide is very less. We are not experiencing tides, especially in the first quarter and the last quarter. But in the case of full moon and new moon, we are experiencing the maximum amount of high tide and low tide. The main reason is that the sun, moon, and earth will come in a straight line, and the sun and moon is exerting the gravitational pull in the same direction. Because of that, on earth, the gravitational force causes a high tide or low tide. So this is the first one is the example for the spring tide. At the new moon and full moon have the strongest gravitational pull. The main reason, the sun, moon, and earth, or the sun, earth, and moon will come in a same line. On such situation on earth, we are experiencing the maximum amount of gravitational pull from both the side or in the same direction. In such a situation, we can find the highest level of high tide or low tide on earth. But on the other hand, the first quarter or in the last quarter, the sun, earth, and moon will come in a 90-degree angle. So we are not experiencing the sun is exerting the gravitational force from one side, and the moon is exerting the gravitational pull on the earth from another side. So in such a situation, we are not experiencing such a the high tide or low tide. So that is called the neap tide. So this is ocean tides. So here we can find the moon is exerting the gravitational pull. So the water from this area that is very close to the moon, that will come near to the moon, and on the other side the sun is exerting its gravitational pull near to the earth, so the water is changing to there. In both the side there we can find the high tide, but in the case of northern pole and southern pole, there it is experiencing the low tide. Then the last type of the ocean water movement, that is the ocean currents. Ocean currents are streams of water flowing continuously on the ocean surface in different directions. The ocean currents are two types, the warm and cold. The Labrador Ocean Currents is a cold current, while the Gulf Stream is a warm current. Generally, the warm ocean currents originate near to the equator region and moves towards the pole. The cold currents carry the water from the polar or high altitude to the tropical or low latitude region. That means the warm ocean current, there are two types of ocean current, the warm ocean currents and the cold ocean currents. Here itself, this is an example or the map. Here we can find the movement of the ocean water or ocean currents in two colors. These arrows are showing the direction of the ocean current, the movement of ocean water. It indicates or it shows the two colors, especially in blue and in red. The red colors are indicating the warm ocean current, and the blue line shows the cold ocean currents. The warm ocean current is blowing from the equator region or the tropical region, from the tropical region towards to the northern pole or towards the southern pole, and the cold ocean currents is blowing from north pole or south pole towards the equator region. So these are the meet ocean currents, the warm ocean currents and the cold ocean currents. Thank you.